Here are 10 fantastic Disney movies from the last 25 years that didn't get the attention they deserved. These underrated gems are worth your time, so let's dive in and appreciate what makes each one special. At number 1, Hercules. The movie is based on Greek mythology, but it's not entirely accurate and takes a lot of creative freedom. This means it's not exactly the same as the original stories from ancient Greece, but that's part of what makes it unique and entertaining. One of the most memorable things about the movie is the music. The songs are upbeat and catchy, and they'll probably get stuck in your head for a while after watching the film. The humor is also great for viewers of all ages. Kids will laugh at the silly jokes, and adults will appreciate the more subtle, clever humor. Visually, Hercules is pretty stunning. It features vibrant colors and an animation style that's typical of Disney movies from the 1990s. It's part of the Disney Renaissance era, a period known for producing many classic Disney films that people still love today. Despite all this, Hercules seems to be less popular than some of the other Disney movies from that time. It might be because it has a lighter, more fun tone compared to some other films like The Hunchback of Notre Dame and The Lion King, which are generally considered to be more serious and dramatic. But even though Hercules may not be the most talked about Disney movie, it's still a great film that's definitely worth watching. At number 2, A Bug's Life. A Bug's Life came out in 1998, and it was Pixar's second movie after Toy Story. It's kind of like Toy Story in that it tells a story about friendship and working together, but it's also about a group of bugs fighting against some really mean grasshoppers. The main character is Flick, and he's an ant who's really smart and good at inventing things. He uses his inventions to help his friends and to try to free his ant colony from the grasshoppers who are controlling them. A Bug's Life is a good movie, but it didn't get as much attention as some other Pixar movies because it came out around the same time as another movie about ants called Ants. Some people say that A Bug's Life is the forgotten stepchild of Pixar because of this competition. It's also worth mentioning that A Bug's Life didn't get a sequel like many other Pixar movies did. This might be another reason why it's not as well known as some of the other Pixar films. But even though it might not be as famous as some of the other Pixar movies, A Bug's Life is still a really entertaining film with a great story and fun characters. At number 3, The Emperor's New Groove. The Emperor's New Groove, released in 2000, is one of Disney's strangest movies. With great voice acting from David Spade as the spoiled Emperor Kuzco and John Goodman as the kind-hearted villager Pacha, the movie is funny and enjoyable without getting too sappy. The conversations are witty, the jokes are on point, and the tone is sarcastic in a refreshing way. One of the most memorable characters is Kronk, who works for the evil Yzma. Kronk is hilarious and manages to steal the show in almost every scene he's in. The movie came out right after Disney's Renaissance era, when the studio released classics like The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin. Because of that, The Emperor's New Groove was compared to those films and didn't quite live up to their success. But that doesn't mean it's not a great movie that's definitely worth watching. At number 4, Treasure Plane. Treasure Planet, which came out in 2002, didn't do so well at the box office but was actually a big step forward for Disney in terms of animation techniques. The movie combined traditional hand-drawn animation with computer animation, creating a really cool and unique visual style. However, this was very expensive and time-consuming. Treasure Planet is still one of the most expensive 2D animated films ever made. The movie is based on Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island and follows Jim Hawkins on an adventure through space on a ship called the RLS Legacy. Even though it didn't do great in theaters, Treasure Planet has since gained a dedicated fan base. It's definitely worth checking out, especially if you're a fan of Disney movies or sci-fi adventures. The visuals alone make it a really interesting film to watch, and the story is engaging and entertaining too. At number 5, Enchanted. Enchanted, released in 2007, begins like any other beautifully animated Disney film, but things take an unexpected turn when the main character Giselle finds herself in the middle of New York City's Times Square. She sticks out like a sore thumb with her naivety and tendency to talk to animals and break into song. The movie is a clever and playful take on the classic Disney formula, with excellent performances and catchy songs that poke fun at Disney tropes without going too far. It still manages to maintain the magical feeling that true love is out there, even if it doesn't always look the way you might expect. It's great that Enchanted received a sequel, Disenchanted, which came out in 2022. The original cast returned for the sequel, and it's wonderful to see how Giselle's story continued in this new movie, exploring the idea of ever after in a new and interesting way. At number 6, Bolt. Bolt, released in 2008, is a great movie that doesn't really feel like a typical Disney film. It's more like something you'd expect from DreamWorks during that time. Even so, it's an enjoyable watch. Bolt is a white German shepherd who stars in a TV show where he has superpowers. He believes his powers are real, and when he gets separated from his owner Penny, he sets off on a journey to find her. The story feels like a mix of Homeward Bound and Toy Story. One reason Bolt might not be as popular as other Disney movies is that it doesn't have any songs. That would be okay if Bolt were a Pixar movie, since Pixar films usually don't have musical numbers, but it's not. Still, Bolt is a lovable character and the film has a really heartwarming ending that makes it worth watching. Overall, Bolt is a unique and entertaining movie that, while it may not fit the typical Disney mold, is definitely worth checking out, especially if you're a fan of animated films or stories about loyal pets on adventures. At number 7, Tinker Bell. Tinker Bell is a sweet little movie that went straight to DVD, but it's actually quite charming. It takes us back to the early days of Peter Pan's sidekick, Tinker Bell, and her birthplace called Pixie Hollow. We get to see Tink discover her talent for tinkering and make friends with other fairies. What's different about this movie is that it's the first time Tinker Bell is shown in CGI animation, instead of the classic 2D animation we've seen before. Even though most Disney fans might prefer the original Peter Pan movie, the Tinker Bell series should get more recognition than it does. It's interesting to note that Disney and Pixar later started making a habit of creating origin stories for their supporting characters, like in Monsters University, Finding Dory, and Lightyear. Tinker Bell was one of the first movies to do this, giving us a closer look at a beloved character from a classic Disney film. At number 8, The Princess and the Frog. The Princess and the Frog is an amazing Disney movie that deserves even more praise than it gets. One reason it stands out among more recent animated films is that it uses traditional 2D animation, while other movies were shifting to computer-generated animation. The Princess and the Frog's animation is stunning and beautifully complements its top-notch soundtrack, which mixes bluegrass and Broadway-style music. Another great thing about this movie is its main character, Tiana. Unlike many Disney princesses, Tiana isn't focused on finding love. Instead, she dreams of owning her own restaurant in New Orleans. The story takes an unexpected turn when she gets turned into a frog after kissing the arrogant Prince Naveen. Throughout the film, both Tiana and Prince Naveen experience significant personal growth, which isn't something we often see in Disney characters. This is just another reason why The Princess and the Frog is so special. However, one possible reason the movie might not have received all the recognition it deserves is that it came out the same year as Pixar's highly acclaimed Up. Despite this, The Princess and the Frog remains a fantastic and often underrated Disney film with a unique style, lovable characters, and an engaging storyline. At number 9, Tangled. Tangled is a Disney movie that deserves more credit than it gets, especially when compared to the immensely popular Frozen. Tangled has all the key elements of a classic Disney film: a strong-willed yet innocent protagonist in Rapunzel, her charming love interest Flynn Rider, and the envious villain Mother Gothel. The movie features stunning animation and catchy songs throughout its 100-minute runtime. When Frozen was released in 2013, it seemed to overshadow Tangled, even though many of the praised aspects of Frozen were already present in Tangled. If Frozen hadn't come along, it's possible that Tangled would have become the most popular and beloved Disney movie. This isn't to say that Tangled isn't recognized among Disney fans, but rather that it deserves even more appreciation for its wonderful storytelling, captivating visuals, and memorable characters. Tangled truly showcases the best of Disney's animated features and should be celebrated as a modern classic. At number 10, Brave. Brave made history as the first Pixar film with a female-led character. Although it won the Academy Award for Best Animated Picture, it didn't seem to become as popular among Disney fans as other Pixar movies or princess-led films. One reason might be that the story is more personal and intimate, with a smaller-scale plot. The main conflict in Brave isn't a typical good versus evil battle. Instead, it centers around the complicated relationship between Merida and her mother, Queen Eleanor. This focus on family dynamics might feel more relatable to viewers than the fantastical plot of a movie like Monsters, Inc. Interestingly, Merida doesn't seem to be as popular a choice for kids' favorite Disney princess, even though she broke new ground in terms of both appearance and personality. After Frozen was released in 2013, Brave's popularity seemed to fade. Brave is a unique film that offers a different kind of story than many other Disney and Pixar movies. It explores important themes like individuality, family, and personal growth, which makes it a worthwhile watch for both kids and adults. Even though it might not have reached the same level of fame as other Disney films, it's still a compelling and well-crafted story that deserves appreciation.